Hey there, Icarus and Sig P320 enthusiasts. Dan here from Icarus Precision, and in this video, we're going to be installing one of our ACE 320 grip modules. At Icarus Precision, we have a couple different styles of 320 modules, but for installation, this process will work with all of them. We're going to be disassembling an OEM module and then installing one of our ACE 320 SOCOM modules. If you're interested in the features and benefits of the SOCOM module or any of our other P320 modules, we have videos available for each of those. The only tool that you should need is a small pointy object like a T-pin or paperclip. Before doing any work or adjustments on your firearm, be sure that the gun is completely safe and clear. Make sure that there is no magazine inserted, and then cycle the slide several times fully while visually making sure that the chamber is clear. Once you're sure that your firearm is safe, you can lock your slide to the rear by pulling the slide all the way back and then pushing up on the slide catch. To remove the slide, rotate the takedown lever clockwise downwards, and then while maintaining control of the slide, push down on the slide release. At this point, the slide should come right off the front of the gun. From here, we're going to begin to pull out the takedown lever from the side of the grip module. It may help to push from the opposite side to get the takedown lever started. Slowly rotate it back and forth and it will eventually come out. The fire control unit, or FCU, is ready to be removed. It may help to push up on the trigger to get it started. The FCU is secured in the rear of the module, so as the front of the module begins to move up, you can start applying forward pressure on the rear of the FCU. And once clear, it should come right out. To finish our disassembly, we need to remove our magazine release. This is where that T-pin or paperclip is going to come in handy. When you push the mag release, you'll notice that the opposite side extrudes from the grip module and exposes a small hole. This small hole provides access to the detent that holds in the mag release. While pressing on the mag release, begin to work the pin into that hole. It helps to think about using it like a paddle. You're going to push the pin in and try to put it towards the module, and then rotate the back of the pin towards the module, which is effectively taking the tip and kind of sliding it out from the front. You can see that. And then make sure, once that piece comes out, that you account for all three pieces. It'll probably take a few times to get that detent to fully unseat. And this is not something that requires a lot of force. It's definitely more finesse. But once that detent comes out, make sure that you do account for all three of those pieces, which is the detent, the spring, and the mag release. So now our OEM module is completely disassembled, and we can begin installing our ACE 320 SOCOM module. As a side note, this could be a good time to clean and lubricate your firearm. Let's start by installing our magazine release into the SOCOM module. This is not required that this is done first, but it does allow us to get our fingers inside the grip if needed, just to make things a little easier. Start by finding your three mag release pieces. If you have grease, it can be helpful here, but if not, make sure that the groove for the spring on the mag release is facing up and place the spring into that groove. Then take your SOCOM grip module and orient it pointing up as well. You can then insert the mag release into the module based upon your hand preference. So if you're right-handed, you insert the mag release on the left side. And if you're left-handed, you insert the mag release on the right side. If you need to, you can use your fingers inside of the module to help align everything. Maintaining pressure on the mag release and spring, then you take your detent and make sure that the spring portion is facing towards the mag release and that the opening is facing outwards. You then slowly push the detent until you feel it seat. We're now ready to install our FCU. What I find easiest is to place the trigger through the trigger opening on the module first. Then push the FCU forward, giving space for the rear of the FCU to sit into the grooved recesses within the back of the module. You may need to provide a little force to get the FCU to fully seat, but you'll know it's installed correctly when the takedown lever holes are aligned on both the FCU and the grip module. Next, we need to reinstall the takedown lever. You may notice that the takedown lever has an angled cut that corresponds with the takedown safety lever blocking the hole. Line these up, which places the takedown lever at approximately the 7 o'clock position. Then begin to slowly rotate the lever back and forth while providing pressure. Make sure to keep the takedown lever aligned, and that when it's fully seated, that the extrusion on the inside of the lever is seated within the round chamber on the module. Our FCU and mag release are now installed, and we're ready to install our slide assembly. Make sure that the takedown lever is back in the position before you're trying to install the slide. That's about that 7 o'clock position. On the slide itself, if your recoil spring has an oval profile instead of circular, make sure that the oval is oriented lengthwise vertically. If you don't, the spring will not compress properly and your slide will not go all the way on. If you haven't already, go ahead and put a drop of lubrication on the 4 FCU slide connection points. Then line up the rear grooves on the slide with the front 2 slide lugs on the FCU and smoothly push the slide rearward over the rear 2 lugs as well. Continue pushing the slide all the way rearward until you can lock it to the rear by pushing up on the slide release. Lastly, rotate the takedown lever counterclockwise back into the horizontal position. You can then release the slide. And now your firearm is reassembled. But one good practice is to perform a function test. This works better if you have snap caps, but no worries if you don't. First, we want to insert and fully seat an empty magazine or magazine with a couple of snap caps. Pointing the firearm in a safe direction, pull the trigger and release. Cycle the slide, which will either insert a dummy round or lock to the rear if you have an empty magazine. Go ahead and release the slide if so. Pull the trigger again, and this time holding the trigger to the rear. Cycle the slide and a snap cap should come out. Again, if you have no snap caps, just let that slide go forward while maintaining the hold on that trigger. Then release the trigger and you should hear and feel an audible click. Continue cycling through all of your snap caps, and when the last one ejects, your slide should lock to the rear. Lastly, press the mag release and make sure that the magazine comes out freely. We've now tested the cycle of operations to include firing, unlocking, extraction, ejection, feeding, chambering, cocking, and locking, as well as the functionality of the magazine release and lockback. If any of those are not functioning properly, you should consult your owner's manual or contact a professional gunsmith. And there you have it, how to disassemble and reassemble a Sig P320 grip module. If you have any questions about these modules or any of our other products, please feel free to reach out to info@icarusprecision.com. Make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons so you can get notified when future videos are released. Also be sure to check out our other social media platforms on Facebook and Instagram. And if you're looking for insider information on when restocks and product drops are happening, go ahead and sign up to subscribe through the link at the top of our website or at the link in the description below. Now, what will you build to make sure that the deck is stacked?